Find the second derivative y double prime or d squared y dx squared for the function y equals x squared times f of x, then evaluate y double prime of -2, where we have all that information. Y here is the product of two functions, one of which is known, x squared, and one of which is unknown, f of x. Since we have a product, the first derivative will make use of the product rule, so y prime or dy dx will be the derivative of the first. Derivative of x squared is 2x, leave the second alone, f of x, plus the first left alone, x squared, times the derivative of the second, and we will call that f prime of x. Now the second derivative is going to involve a product rule for this term and a product rule for this term. And we add the results together. So the second derivative, y double prime, or d squared y dx squared, will be the derivative of 2x, which is a 2, times the second left alone, f of x, plus the first left alone, 2x, times the derivative of the second derivative of f, we will call f prime of x. That's the product rule for the first, and now we have the product rule for the second. The derivative of the first, the x squared, will be a 2x times the second left alone, f prime of x, plus the first left alone, x squared, times the derivative of the second. The derivative of f prime will be f double prime. So our second derivative, y double prime, or d squared y dx squared, will be 2 times f of x plus, and these terms here can combine since they're identical form. We have 2 of each of them. 2 plus 2 is 4. X, f prime of x. And we have our last term, x squared, f double prime of x. There's our second derivative, y double prime, or d squared y dx squared. We now want to evaluate y double prime of -2. Y double prime of -2 means to plug in -2 in for each of the x's, so we'll have 2 times f of -2 plus 4 times -2 times f prime of -2 plus a -2 squared times f double prime of -2. So we have 2 times f of -2, that's given to us, that's here, to 3. 2 times 3 plus, now 4 times a -2 is a -8. F prime of -2 is given right here, it's a -1. And we have plus -2 squared, -2 times -2 is a +4. And then f double prime of -2 is given, it's right here, it's a -4. 2 times 3 is a 6, plus -8 times -1 is a +8, and then a +4 times a -4 is a -16. 6 plus 8 is a 14, minus a 16, and 14 minus 16 is a -2.